It's my rebirth day. And I know you're probably thinking, what is a rebirth day? Didn't you just have a birthday? I did. But essentially, 5 years ago, I woke up after having a near death experience. And today I'm going to share with you at least 3 valuable insights that have supported me along my own path of healing in hopes that it also supports you no matter what challenges you might be facing in life. A little background story as to how the near death experience even happened. Essentially, I was on my way home from a festival and we were in a car accident. I was found outside by a bush and I was escorted by a helicopter because of my condition, and my consciousness actually left my body and I went to the celestial world. When I came back, I was in the hospital, and the nurses told me that I had broken my rib, my arm, and my C2. For any of you unfamiliar with the C2, it is a vertebra back here in the back of the neck, and most of the time, people don't survive, or if they do, they're not able to move their bodies afterwards. So even when the surgeon came in, he was quite surprised by my state, even though I was strapped to the bed with a neck brace and unable to move, not looking in my best shape. And the surgeon told me something that I still sinks deep with me today, and that is yoga saved my life. Because of the flexibility of my spinal column did not snap in half, but in fact, it remained intact. And that is what supported me in my healing journey as well. So, what I learned from this is one, focus on what you can do. When you wake up strapped to the bed, you might feel quite limited. And maybe there's also times in your own life where you feel a bit restricted, or where you feel that you're under pressure from other societies or at work, etc. Focus on what you can do. And for me, that always means connecting to the breath. You can always breathe, because if you're not breathing, you're dead. So by focusing on the breath, you're connecting to your prana, your vital life force energy, and you're able to direct it throughout yourself and become intuitively aware as well at the subtleties, what feels a bit tight, what feels a bit closed off, and really giving life into these places, giving space so that when you meet your own boundaries, as you exhale, they're likewise able to soften. And over time, it gives space for energy to move through you with grace so that your dreams, your ideas are able to transmit through you and to come into your reality. Focusing on what you can do, there's always something to give gratitude for. And when we give gratitude, we naturally raise our frequency. We are naturally putting on a positive outlook in life, seeing the world from a different place. It's very easy to get stuck in the victim role. It's very easy to focus on the things that aren't working well in life. It's very easy to feel restricted. It's very easy to feel limited. The brain actually fixates on negative things. During my healing journey as well, I started studying a lot about neuroscience and how the brain works, because I was super fascinated by the fact that I was even able to be alive, speaking, communicating, and able to take in information despite my state of being. So, no matter where you might be at this point in your life, always focus on what you can do. And that might also mean to take rest. The second valuable lesson that I learned is that the practice is always working at a greater level beyond what we can even comprehend. So when you are connecting to your breath, you are connecting to spirit, again, vital life force energy. And some may say that we are in a physical form having a spirit experience, or spirit having a human experience. It's all moving through us. So just to engage in this sense of trusting in knowing that you are exactly where you need to be at this point in time, even if it might feel uncomfortable, even if it might feel emotional or unfair, to really take the time to step back. The practice teaches us to become the compassionate observer and to recognize what is happening. And I always find too, when I start to reflect on this and I start to really meditate on it and to receive the gemstones of wisdom, that it also helps to expedite the process of what it is that we are healing. The third valuable lesson that I received was there's no greater high than being alive. Quite often in life, we are seeking things outside of ourselves to feel fulfilled or to get a little kick of energy. But when we tune into our own life force, you're able to tune into that own high. I really felt this when I had my out of body experience and I felt myself in the celestial world where I was speaking with the celestial guardians. I also saw my guardian angels, but I went to what might have been Miriam. She looked a bit like Cher, but after doing some research, Mary Magdalene or Miriam seems the most appropriate. I didn't realize who she was at the time. Otherwise, I would have totally asked her to like sign my arm because she's kind of a big deal. But I did go straight up to her and I said, "You wouldn't believe it. I just had a crazy accident. It's crazy. Look at me. I'm totally fine. There's nothing wrong." And she said, "I know you had an accident." And I looked and I saw myself in the hospital bed, strapped, neck brace on, not able to move. And I said to her, "I should go back." She said, "Yes, you should." So to recognize as well that we always have a choice. We have a choice as to how we direct our energy. We have a choice as to how we choose to think, as to how we choose to relate, to connect. And of course, sometimes the external circumstances are going to be super difficult and really hard to digest and unmanageable. We can also see this developing in the world as well. And again, these are things that it's really difficult to comprehend, but to recognize that you too have a choice as to how you want to use your voice, as to how it is that you want to act. And if anything doesn't feel in alignment with how you wish to be in life, for example, if your thoughts don't align with how you wish to express, or how you wish to feel, or how you wish to act or to create, you change them, you shift them. You have the power to rewire your mind. It doesn't happen like that. It's a practice, and it's a practice that's always ongoing. So notice it in how you speak to people, how you relate, how you speak to yourself. So this was another thing that I found after the accident. Instead of saying, "I broke my bones," or "my body is broken," I reminded myself that I am healing. I reminded myself of the intelligence of the body and how there was a reason as to why I came back. And likewise, there is a reason as to why you are here. And even if that message might not seem clear at the moment, that's okay. As long as you focus on what you can do and you do what makes you feel alive so you can thrive. To really tune into the heart and to enhance that frequency by giving gratitude even for the little things in life. And just to trust that the practice is working on a greater scale. Everything is a ripple effect, and it starts with the center of you. So I really hope that you were able to receive some gemstones of wisdom from this video. Of course, if you have any other questions or you relate to this, please let me know. I'm more than happy to share more, especially now that it's been 5 years after my accident. I would say that, right after the accident, it was a bit difficult to always go into it. As my trauma therapist said, you don't want to retell the story all the time because your body will then remember. So I noticed that as well, like shortly after that, my body would start to get tense. Even like 2 or 3 years later, I would get neck pain, even though I wasn't experiencing a broken neck. So keep that in mind, that the stories that you tell, again, the thoughts and or how you speak is also making an imprint. So we don't always have to relive the trauma. In fact, today, ironically enough, I was at Uhu festival where I was DJing. And I must say, I was a little bit nervous about taking on this gig because it was in the same place as to where I had my accident. And that meant that I would have to come home from the festival on the same day as to when I had my near death experience. And this for me gave an opportunity to reframe my experience, to really focus on I am alive and I'm going to make the conscious decision and to take the safe journey home. So it's also festival season. So just keep that in mind. Ask questions to the driver, really tap into it. And if you're in the car, stay awake, keep the conversation flowing. For me, I fell asleep in the back seat and the whole energy of the car, everyone was asleep, everyone was tired, and that's why the car went off the road. And so this isn't, to point blame or anything like this, because I also feel that as drivers from a festival, they feel a sense of duty, right, to bring passengers from one place to another. So it's also the respect and the duty as well of the people in the car to remain awake, to remain alert, and just to continue to take care of yourself. And you can apply these techniques in all walks of life. So I'm really grateful that I was able to join Uhu Festival this past weekend, because it also again helped to reshape my relationship with this day. As for quite often, I was getting a bit stuck in the downside or stuck in the dark side of, what had actually happened to me, really feeling sad and sorry for my body instead of feeling, wow, amazed at the intelligence as to what can happen when you focus on the light and just become the light. Of course, for me, it's always a living practice, and I'm happy to share it with you. So, again, tap in, tune in. If you have questions, let me know. Besitos, and very happy that you're here.